Tata Motors has just updated the Tiagos. This is the EV, this is the ICE, and you can see the visual differences between both the cars. But today's video is going to be focused around this one because I'm going to make a separate video on the EV, of course. This is priced from 5.58 lakhs on Mumbai, going all the way to rupees 9.79 lakhs. So yes, absolutely amazing pricing. And you tell me, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer the EV or would you prefer the ICE? I will say that knock knock. It's time to move from here because we are going to focus on, oh my goodness, that's like flown away. Anyways, the key of the car is the same as before, which is quite premium for a small car. Unlock the car, lock the car. This is to turn on the lights and this is to open the boot. It just unlocks the boot actually. And you know what? This is actually the CNG, which is priced at rupees 92,000 more when compared to the petrol version, but it's not available in the top variant. It's available in one trim lower, which means 5 features are missing. For starters, it does not get fog lamps, which the petrol model gets, because obviously the top end variant is there. I don't understand the logic of not giving the top end variant in this car. There's no mileage charger, there's no rear USB-C charging socket, there's no connected car tech, and there's one more feature which is missing. I kind of forgot about that, but if I recollect, I'll tell you obviously. Anyways, they have made a lot of changes to the car. You can see the design is like an evolutionary change. They say this is the second generation of the Tiago based on the X Alpha platform. No. Mechanically, everything is the same. The underpinnings are the same. Just by renaming the platform, you can't call it a new generation. So I'll just say this is another facelift of the Tiago. Straight away, let's open the engine bay because it retains the same engine. Yeah, the engine hasn't been changed. 3-cylinder unit. This is an area where Tata Motors really needs to work upon because the engine is, you know it. Anyways, there's insulation there. And washer fluid should be a blue cap. I don't know why it's a yellow one. Tata Motors does what it does. Anyways, let's shut this. Oh, nice. Bang there. Now, in terms of design, obviously, it looks fresher. But you know what? People who are really not into cars will think that, oh, this is the old Tiago. What's new here? Not much has changed. But yes, a lot has actually changed here. Because Tata Motors, hi there, bye there. Yeah. Oh my God, look at that. Color of my t-shirt. What's happening? You know, they name the colors very weirdly. So Pangong something, and they like Andaman Mist and whatever. Okay, Andaman Adventure, I think. Munnar Mist. So they are trying to name it by a city. So I am going to copyright Mumbai Masala right now. Anyways, you get the Tata logo here. The grille is closed off. Gets the gloss black finishing here. You get a front camera because it gets a 360-degree parking camera. You obviously get a new bumper, new grille treatment here, new lights which have dual LEDs inside. So this is the low beam, this is the high beam, this is the LED DRL, and these vents are not functional at all. So fog lamp sits somewhere here, and the bumper is not painted in that area, which is a good cost cutting actually, because obviously aggressive pricing here. Now this is the provision for the towing hook, indicators functioning at the moment. So LED treatment here on the light, which is a good thing. When you come to the side, you realize nothing has changed really, because the length of the car is the same as before, which is around 3.8 meters, slightly more than 3.8 meters. The wheelbase is 2.4 meters. The ground clearance is the highest in the segment at 170 mm, which is again a good thing. And the other feature which I was talking about, which is missing here, are alloy wheels, because this gets steel wheels here, which are smaller size. So the tire size here is 175/65/14. Meanwhile, the top end petrol gets 175/60/15 with alloys. So steel wheels with wheel caps, which look okay, not great. You get this body cladding running. There's the camera, the side camera, and this is the dual tone finish. Yes. Now I remember, which is another feature which is missing in the one less variant, which is the Creative. The Creative Plus also gets the option of dual tone roof. CNG badging here because CNG. Automatic wipers. That's the reason you have the sensor there, and it has this chrome finishing on the door handles everywhere, on all the doors obviously. You get a shark fin antenna now, and this is where CNG goes in. So CNG is here, petrol is here, some information here, E20 compliant, and as soon as you open this, the car obviously turns off here. Rear drums obviously. Now, a lot of changes have actually happened in terms of the finishing, because as you can see, it's actually a nice finishing. Then the fabric is quite nice. You get isofix child seat mounts, you got proper seat belts, but fixed headrest. Center passenger does not get a headrest, no armrest either. But the disappointing part here is that if you do not buckle the seat belts, even when there are no passengers, the car will ring ting 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 all the time. So there are no load sensors here. Once inside, you realize this is a small car, so obviously space isn't that great, but they have scooped this out so knee room can be adequate. Obviously, what happened there? I'm a bit tall, so legroom, knee room, foot room, nothing is good for me. A foot room is fine here, but underthigh support is not good. Knee room, leg room, foot room. I mean, it's not a car for tall passengers. But otherwise it's fine for smaller passengers. You can obviously push the seat a bit ahead to make some space at the rear. You get rear AC vents, no USB charging socket in the CNG, because CNG guys will be stuck at the pump. Now they don't have time to actually consume media. This is not flat, there's a hump here. So it's best for 4 people. It gets these dual pockets, one on the top, one at the bottom, which is actually quite nice. Yeah, overall interior seems quite impressive here. And it has got 6 airbags, which are standard. There's a handle to hold on to almost everywhere. The front one is a bit different, it's well damped as well. In fact, no height adjustable seat belts. And the dashboard is new here. It looks quite nice actually. Yeah, Tata Motors has done a good job in terms of making the car more feature loaded, which they always do. Lot of hard plastics naturally here. Gloss black finishing right there. Door pockets are decent size. Not very big, but decent size. Get the job done. And yeah, USB charging sockets at the rear is a must. I don't know why they have not given it. That's like a basic thing. At the rear, again, evolutionary design change. You actually get the light bar, but there's no light here. So it's just a bar without the light, and indicator functioning at the moment. This is the light. So again, evolutionary design change here. You get this reflector, 2 parking sensors at the rear. This is halogen, that's actually the reverse light. This is the rear parking camera, says Tiago here. The Tata logo, which needs changing now, obviously. And here, where is the exhaust? Well, there is the exhaust, and it gets a spare wheel, which is actually placed below. Otherwise, you know, the spare wheel is, I think, placed inside for the petrol model. So yeah, spare wheel is there. Yippee! And it says iCNG right here. You get a rear wiper washer. CNG badging, high mounted stop lamp, and the boot space is actually quite small here because the CNG tanks have been placed right here. So this is around 100 liters. Where's the parcel shelf? There seems to be none. 3 kgs is what this and this hook can each take, and I'm just going to fold the seat here because it has, okay, this is open, this is not. Yes, you can fold this seat down in one piece to increase the boot carrying capacity, but at least it has some usable boot space because CNG cars usually don't have it. So let me try and open this. So there is a manual valve cover which you can, okay, there are pins here to secure this, but I've opened it right now so I can show you the CNG tanks, dual CNG tanks, which can accommodate up to 60 liters of water equivalent. And there is the valve, you can turn it on and off if you want to cut it off, just for safety reasons, which is good. Nice brace here so that everything is secure. So that's a job very nicely done. Otherwise, the boot space for the petrol is 242 liters, which is okay by small car standards. So let's get inside. And there's a request sensor on the driver side. There is no request sensor on the passenger side, which is sad. And here you actually get a squirrel. So Tata Motors is like all our cars will have some Easter egg. Some have, I don't know, there's a lion, there's a tiger. It varies. There's a rhino, I think, for the punch. So it varies depending on the car. Door pockets are actually decent size for the bottle, but not really big enough here. One touch down for the driver. Yeah, only one touch down. No one touch up, and illumination only for the driver. And the handles also feel quite nice. The control for the outside rear view mirror adjustment is here. These mirrors have the auto function, so you can obviously open and close them by simply pressing it like that. Now it has a lot of stickers: air pressure, fire extinguisher positioning, and it tells you that you should drive the car in petrol mode for at least 10 kilometers every 300 kilometers. Otherwise the car will forget how it drives on petrol only. Here you get a proper dead pedal, hard plastics everywhere. This button should have been here, or they should have concealed this better. So this is the engine start button. The seats are nice. The fabric is actually quite cool here. Nicely done, Tata Motors. And this is sort of extension. Why is this extension there? This is obviously so that under-thigh support is better. So they have this at the rear as well, where I've made a mess here. So slight extension here so that passengers have better under-thigh support, obviously. This is the lever to open the hood. How do you open the CNG tank? Well, from there. And this is to open the fuel lid. Actually, fuel lid opens from there. Mode selection happens from there. So a bit of confusion happening for me right now. And let me tell you, the interior actually feels quite premium for a Chintu Mintu car. First things first, let me turn off the lights. And then obviously, the screens become brighter. No auto dimming mirror. What is happening? And hard plastics here. But you know what? You can actually pull this out. Yeah, it will require some effort. But then overall fit finish and all is okay. Some uneven panel gaps and all those things are there. But for a small car, forgivable. 20% recycled material has been used in this car, which Tata Motors proudly puts on the A pillar. The glove box is decent sized. It gets the cooling function here, but there is no illumination. And the first aid kit is cheap, but it's okay for a entry level car. That's completely fine. There's an Easter egg here. Can you see that? All right, hard plastics everywhere. These are 2 pads. They are not wireless chargers in this car, but it gets wireless charger in the petrol. So yeah, the petrol obviously has more features because it's available in a higher variant as well. Some storage space here for cup holders with nice graphics as well. That's kind of cool. Proper physical handbrake, and this does not go ahead or behind, no sliding mechanism. Stays with this magnet, so it's small sized, but there's a 12-volt charging socket on the inside, and there are USB-C charging sockets. So two USB-C, one actually connects to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which also does wirelessly, and there's a 65-watt fast charger, which is good, which is actually quite nice. Light placement here on the top, yeah, the old lights, and here you get a mirror. Here you just get a toll receipt holder, but we have FASTag, so we don't need it anymore. And the dashboard has this nice treatment going around, which is actually cool. The steering is new. It's actually quite nice, the steering, because it gets a flat bottom. It's a 2-spoke unit, easy to press the horn. Horn is not great. The CNG does not get cruise control. The petrol obviously gets cruise control. So there's just one switch here, which is to actually go through the trip meter. So you have twin trip meters and an odometer, and that's the only thing you're going to browse through in this particular screen. So the enclosure has been changed because this is still a 5-inch screen with a lot of information like clock, temperature, instant fuel efficiency, speedometer, distance to empty, and in case a door is open, it actually shows you which door is open. And this is the basically fuel meter for petrol, for CNG, and here is the RPM meter. So yeah, this is nicely done actually. And automatic headlights, automatic wipers are also there here, which is quite cool. Steering definitely feels nice to hold. It's adjustable only for height. Yeah, that's the only adjustment available here. But Tata Motors is listening to feedback and they have made changes. For starters, they have not put the touch panel here. So you've got proper physical buttons for the air conditioning, which is absolutely fantastic. Tiago badging here and more physical buttons, which is quite cool actually, because it becomes so easy to use this, and they've got multiple buttons here. So this is to unlock the car, this is the hazard light, and this is to switch to CNG, which you can do before turning on the car as well. So basically you can turn on the car on CNG mode itself, which is actually very nice indeed. And this is for the 360-degree parking camera. So I press this button, there is the camera. You've got multiple views here. Actually camera quality is nice, but there's a caveat. So this is the 360-degree view, which does the first spin obviously, and then you can spin it around. Fluid, very fluid, and you can have multiple views and all. You have side views, you have rear view, I think, whatever. So actually this is a nice camera. Let's come into reverse. So this is obviously the reverse parking camera, and then you can obviously change it to a wider view. First things first, I'm going to turn on the car. So let's do that. It's in reverse, so it's not turning on. Okay, let's come into neutral and let me just turn off the car, open the door, and then turn on the car again. Yeah, it does this whole full swipe up thingy going all the way till top speed. It also spins these widgets inside. It's actually an easy screen to use. This is a 10.25-inch unit, which is actually quite impressive because it doesn't have too many things now, so less things to go wrong. So when you come into the widget section here, you can actually go ahead and adjust the air conditioning from here. That is quite nice. So yeah, air conditioning control also happens if you want to do it as a touch. That's something which is smart. So people who want touch, they have touch also, but you've got physical controls as well. Now there's not much there inside this screen, you know, other than the fact that there's a video player for which you have to connect through USB, and then there's media for basically Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, and that's kind of it. Yeah, there's no arcade suite or anything of that sort. So simple, functional, and actually gets the job done, which is actually nice. Let's rev the motor. Yeah, revs till 4000 RPM. Let me switch off from CNG and let's see if it revs any further. No, it revs the exact same. So no change when you switch between the various power modes from where the engine supply is coming or power supply is coming, either CNG or petrol. By the way, you notice one thing, the AC vents are actually protruding out. They call it a design element. I feel it's more like trying to push air right on your face so that the cooling happens better in the car. And the touch panel here is gone, which is fantastic. Yeah, so some very good things Tata Motors has done, because now this obviously feels better. It's not a fingerprint magnet, and you can press it anywhere to activate the horn as well. But because this is a CNG, it has a fire extinguisher, which is obviously mandatory. It has a 4-speaker sound system with audio quality not being great. Which is expected because it's sort of a budget car. Now there's a lot of piano black here, which is a fingerprint magnet, and this gas selector is not the best to use because yeah, it fumbles a bit. You have the what am I saying, no, you get the regular gas stick for the manual obviously but there are no drive modes here. So yeah, there's no sport mode here, Now, in this particular screen, there is the settings menu, which has something known as driver assistance, which is basically for park assist and the tone and the volume and the delay timer and all those things. You can actually go ahead and make your own doodle as well. You can make your own sticker if you want. I don't know why all these gimmicks are there. This is not even an EV. And obviously, you can get into the light setting because it has got follow me home headlamps. So yeah, a lot of features, which is quite impressive. But will it drive any better? I don't think so, because it's the same. The engine is the same. There's no boost as such. So let's give it the beans. But will it take it? So let's start driving by turning on the car. Okay, little bit of sound you can hear from the engine on turn on, and then it settles. CNG mode active, it says. Let's turn off CNG. Let's turn off the air conditioning. You can't turn on and off traction control, ESP at all. Straight away, I come into drive mode. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Let me turn on the camera as well. And off we go. Oh, very slow to take off because my handbrake is on. How foolish of me. So we're going to come into reverse because I need all the space in the world to be able to get a nice run, to be able to time this car properly. First we'll time it in petrol, then we'll go to CNG mode. So here, camera on, into drive mode, revving the motor. Don't press brake and accelerator together. Revs till almost 1500 RPM and off we go. Oh my god, the acceleration is so brutal that the center armrest actually opened. That is kind of weird. Yeah, it actually opened, and I was like, how did the center armrest open? It was on acceleration. My goodness, what acceleration. Absolutely mind-bogglingly not impressive. And come on. Brake test. Bro, what are the brakes? What is this braking? Anyways, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 19.21 seconds. That's very, very slow. And why is this so dimmed out? And Tata Motors logo is coming here. Yeah, the brakes are not good. The ABS and the tires and the braking performance is kind of poor here. So yeah, not impressed. But 19.21 seconds is like 2.5 business days, which is a lot of time to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So yeah, I'm disappointed there for sure. Anyways, let me try that again, but this time we are going to be in CNG mode, which means that I need a bigger runoff area to be able to reach 100 kilometers per hour, because this car is not having the kind of performance. Obviously it doesn't have the punch because this is not the punch. And by the way, camera feed got frozen. In the morning the camera actually hung. Yeah, that also happens. Camera hanging and all that also happens here. But anyways, straight away into CNG mode. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Reset this, bro. What are you doing? Yeah, and off we go. Turn on the camera. Driver UV monitor. You can feel the shifts. AMT na. It will make sure you know that there's a shift which is happening. Come on. I don't think we will reach 100 kilometers per hour because yeah, this is slow. And how? No. Come on. 23.5 seconds. Oh my god. CNG is very, very, very sluggish because it has just 75.5 horsepower and 96.5 Newton meters of torque, which is quite less here. Otherwise 86 horsepower and 130 Newton meters of torque for the regular petrol. But now we're going to focus on the CNG itself, and trust me on this, CNG just is sluggish. Especially on hard throttle inputs, it does not respond at all. It's the same as before, sluggish CNG, but there's a lot of roll as well. The suspension is all over the place, surprisingly, and off we go. So the problem here is that this car is not meant for hard throttle inputs, because when you drive it hard now, the engine obviously doesn't have the grunt. The gearbox doesn't have the shift speed only. With AMT, that rocking movement or that head nod is so apparent here. So that's only when you're driving it on full throttle. Otherwise, on part throttle, things are actually fine. And around the corners, there's a lot of body roll. Tires don't have grip here. And obviously, it's not able to shift with enthusiasm. They are paddle shifters, so you can manually take control of gears, but it says gear shift denied. That's kind of rude. I expected some amount of tehzeeb and tamiz from the gearbox. If I'm asking for a shift, please give me that. So 5-speed gearbox here. Engine doesn't have the punch only. It's best at part throttle. There are a lot of vibrations. Doesn't feel refined at all. And obviously when you try to push it hard, you realize this engine is just not good enough. But this is obviously not for spirited driving, because you can see the timing, which is 4 seconds slower, almost 4 seconds slower than the, what is that? The petrol only model. Now obviously the CNG will also dull the performance of the petrol mode because of the added weight of the CNG tanks here. But good efficiency and low running cost is the advantage of a CNG. So they should return somewhere around 20 kilometers per kg of CNG, which is quite good. Otherwise the petrol will return around 13-14 kilometers per liter, which is also quite good if I'm honest. Now see, I'm going to drive this on part throttle. Part throttle things are fine because it doesn't move only, but every time a gear shifts, it has this movement, the head nod. Oh my god, that's not good at all. So I'm not impressed by the engine at all, and that is one of the bigger problems with this car, that Tata Motors knows that the engine isn't good, but Tata Motors doesn't bother to do anything here at all. And I noticed that the roll is quite a lot and the steering is very vague as well. It weighs up decently well at high speed. It's not hairy as such, but it just doesn't weigh up. So it's not a car for spirited driving, because the engine doesn't support, the chassis doesn't support, the body doesn't support. Just doesn't feel like a fun car to drive. But then it's not a fun car to drive, but it feels kind of robust. High speed stability is good. It's just that there's a lot of roly-poliness to the way the chassis has been set up, the suspension has been set up, and the ride is actually quite good here. So it's compliant, although big road shocks, you can feel it inside because it's slightly on the stiffer side. Last moment, I should not think of changing direction because the car actually slides out. The tires have really poor grip here. I don't understand the logic of updating all these things like the screen and the dashboard and the steering, when the real problem of Tata Motors' petrol cars is obviously the petrol engine. This one really needs to go because it can't compete with Suzuki's alternatives, which are just so much better. Hitting a tree, why not? Oh my goodness, I closed my eyes thinking that I'll avoid that, but no, that didn't work there. So the blind view monitor's camera is somehow not good. That's just kind of surprising, because what's the logic of the blind view camera not being good when the 360-degree camera is actually quite good here? So the good thing here is obviously you can use the handbrake to initiate slides, but it doesn't really slide here. That's another problem. I don't know how they calibrated the handbrake or something, but just doesn't slide. You can circle around like this. This is the donut you can do in this car. Nothing more, nothing less. That's about it. This is the donut mode of this car. That is the EV. I can't say anything about it because of the embargo. Now let's launch it in manual mode and let's see what it does. Does it hold on to a gear or what? Yeah, it doesn't hold on to a gear. It redlines under 6000 RPM. Mid-range has some weirdness happening to it. So the power delivery is not very linear and smooth as such. And then obviously doesn't have a top end. It doesn't have a mid-range. It doesn't even have a bottom end. It doesn't have any end. It doesn't have any good flow of power in any part of the rev range, which is the disappointing part of this car. So it just feels like the engine is just not meant for the job. And why is this all of a sudden becoming whatever it is becoming? So I'm just going to turn on the camera right now by pressing this button. The rear view monitor is actually good. So a lot of disappointments in terms of the powertrain, and also there's some amount of road noise which filters through. There's a lot of tire noise which filters through. So insulation levels could be better. Actually, this car feels a bit stiff when compared to the regular petrol because of the CNG tanks. This weighs 110 kgs more, but I have to give it to Tata Motors for actually offering an automatic in a CNG. So a lot of segment first Tata Motors is doing by offering automatic in CNG and usable boot and all that. So this is a car strictly for those who care about running costs and don't really care about their time, because firstly, this car will not get you anywhere in a hurry. That's a given. Secondly, the CNG lines are absolutely crazy. They are long and they are never ending because commercial guys are actually using CNG, because of which the lines are huge at CNG pumps, which makes it very unviable to drive a CNG car, because when you go to what is happening? So when you go to fill CNG, it's going to take a lot of time, and then you end up driving on petrol only mode, which means in emergencies when you really need to drive and you don't have a CNG pump around or the line is too long, you're like, okay, let me drive on petrol mode. When you do that, you end up actually compromising, because this car's performance is not as good as a non-CNG because of the additional weight, and obviously efficiency is also not as good because of the additional weight, which makes me think that for private buyers, like a CNG makes absolutely no sense. Is this car for commercial? Probably yes. Anyways, air conditioning is off, which is like the sport mode for CNG, but this car also has another sport mode, which is turning off CNG mode, and then all of a sudden you get more power. Honestly, the best engine for the Tiago is the diesel, which was there earlier, which has been discontinued unfortunately because the premium was way too much. Here the premium for CNG is just 92,000, which is actually decent. Yeah, honestly 92,000 isn't bad at all for better efficiency. It's just that, you know, CNG's filling procedure is a pain in your rear. If you have that kind of time, you rather take the bus, right? Anyways, enough of yapping randomly nonsense stuff, because there's not much to talk about. Tata Motors hasn't done mechanical changes. They should have. This car deserves a better engine. The day Tata Motors develops a good small capacity petrol engine is the day things will change dramatically for them, because it happened with the Sierra. The turbo petrol is really good. Here, I don't know, putting a turbo would make sense. Probably not, because the price will go up quite a lot, and then mating a turbo with a CNG would be another challenge which Tata Motors will face. But it is what it is. The engine just doesn't have the grunt, doesn't have the punch, feels sluggish, slow, and just doesn't put a smile on your face. Yeah, I like how the ride quality is so polished in Tata cars. They like the chassis and all is well done. So this is essentially the X1 platform, which has been renamed to X Alpha, and that's one of the USPs of Tata Motors. Their marketing department works overtime to make new changes, name the colors as well. You can see a flight is landing right in front of me. Yeah, that is not a Tata Indigo. That is another Indigo altogether, and you can call this the spiritual successor of the Bolt, which was the spiritual successor of the Indica or the Vista. And you know, we can trace back this car to the Indica. So this car does offer you more car per car, but honestly, if you're really looking to buy this car, it is the petrol non-CNG manual, which is so much better to drive because you've got manual control on the gas, which is absolutely fantastic. But the problem here is, what is this hazard thing which turns on? The problem here is that the gearbox, although decent in terms of shifts, not the slickest, has some rubbery feel to it. But the bigger problem is that the clutch is too light. It's like crazy light, and the crazy light clutch means that although it's very light to go in, it comes out also like a spring. So yeah, no feel on the clutch here at all. So there are 18 variants of the Tiago on sale, and I'll tell you a trick of how to save 65,000. That is by not getting the automatic. Anyways, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Indicator is off only. Why does it get stuck there, bro? And off we go. Lot of wheel spin, bogs down. No, I have to launch it very gradually, otherwise it will bog down. So again, here we go, revving the motor. Better launch, come on. Red lines at around 6,000 RPM. No wheel spin on upshift. Feels quite sluggish actually. Yeah, this engine has no grunt, no punch, nothing as such. Into third. Oh, thankfully third was smooth. And that's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in, come on, 18.74 seconds, which is like 1 second faster when compared to the CNG in petrol mode, because this one is 110 kgs lighter here. So I was telling you, you should get the manual only, not the automatic. Automatic is really sluggish, it's slow, and although it is convenient, it is the manual which is more fun to drive, even though this engine is very lackluster, doesn't have the grunt at all. I think I can launch better. So let me try that once again. Hazard lights on, into first gear, and hazard lights off, revving the motor. Okay, in fact, there are vibrations even in neutral, so that's the level of refinement from this engine. And off we go. Little bit of wheel spin. Oh, come on, beautiful shift. Superb, Faisal, superb. What an achievement. So this engine redlines faster and higher when compared to the automatic, because the automatic will not rev beyond a point, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 16.8 seconds, which is actually 2 seconds faster when compared to the automatic. So that's fantastic. So this engine is not good, but actually the good thing about this engine is without a doubt the fact that it is not efficient either. I don't know what to say. I have no words to even save this engine or praise it in any way, because the engine has a lot of problems here. Because it just doesn't have the grunt, it doesn't have the punch, it feels sluggish, it's just slow, it's not fast, it's not refined, it's too loud. Lot of multiple issues with this engine, which is not such a good thing. Yeah, Tata Motors really needs to change the engine, and they need to do it ASAP. That's how loud it is, which is crazy loud. Now this car comes with 3 years, 1 lakh kilometer warranty, and I think Tata Motors should offer an optional warranty of 10 years, unlimited kilometers, to bring faith and trust in the brand, because reliability has been an issue with the brand, and that is one of the major reasons why not everybody trusts Tata Motors. And the other issues, obviously service centers and all that, they're not able to create that confidence because the dealership network or the service centers are not really trained that well to be able to resolve issues easily. And on that summary, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button. The car has become better, no two ways about it. It definitely is better in terms of overall finish and features and all those things. Fit finish can still be improved a bit, But what really needs to improve is the engine. A better engine here would be so damn freaking awesome. So neither the petrol nor the CNG impress, which is kind of sad and also expected as well. Getting a bit confused, where do I head? But then I sort of figure out my way and off we go. It looks like the engine will blow any moment. That's how freaking loud it is. But it is what it is. Tires screeching and all that. What is this feel? Come on, put that turbo engine in this car because it deserves it. Bye-bye.